everyone, and welcome back to another video. This is an age-old debate I've seen take place a lot, and I've wanted to do this comparison for a really long time. I'm so excited that it's finally here. This video is a comparison between an original lacquered saxophone and a re-lacquered saxophone, more specifically two Mark VI altos. What's the difference in sound? What's the difference in feel? Is the price difference justified? Should you steer clear of re-lacquered saxophones and instruments altogether? Let's find out. In this video, I'm going to be playing on 4 different setups. I'll be playing on the original lacquered saxophone, I'll be playing on the re-lacquered saxophone, and then I'm going to swap the necks. I'll play the original lacquered body with a re-lacquered neck, and then a re-lacquered body with an original lacquered neck. I'm going to be playing 4 songs on each setup. The audio is completely dry with no reverb or anything like that, so you can really hear exactly what it sounds like. First, I'm going to play all of the takes with the setup hidden, so it's purely an audio test. Then I'm going to ask you which one was your favorite, which one was your least favorite, and if you can guess which setup is which. Then I'm going to play those same recordings again, but reveal the setup so you can see exactly which one goes with which recording. So as I said, I'm going to be playing 4 separate songs. On each one of those songs, there's going to be numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 for the 4 different setups. Those numbers will not stay consistent from one song to the next. So number 1 on the first song might not be the same setup as number 1 on the second song. I really want you to listen closely. I'm going to give my personal thoughts about this at the end after the reveal, so be sure to stick around for that because I have some opinions. I know this is a pretty long video, but I really wanted to make it thorough for you. If you don't feel like sitting through the entire thing, I'm going to put some timestamps on the screen here in a second, as well as in the description below, so you can just jump to those sections that you want to watch. So without any further ado, here are the recordings. So, which one of those sounded the best to you? Which one sounded the worst? Also, could you tell which setup was which? I'm going to give you a second, put those guesses in the comments below. Now I'm going to play those exact same recordings again for you, but it's going to be uncovered so you can see exactly which setup was played with each take. right, were your guesses correct? Were you surprised by any of them? So first off, let's get this out of the way. In this video, I'm comparing one specific saxophone to one specific saxophone. That's it. Obviously, individual saxophones differ, so if I had 1,000 re-lacquered Mark 6s and I can compare them to another 1,000 original lacquer Mark 6s, we might see some different things and we can maybe average some things out. This is what I had access to, so this is what I was able to make a video on. Now let's talk about sound. For me and my ears, I thought the re-lacquered horn sounded great. Obviously, there's going to be some subtle differences, especially when you compare them back to back in a very dry recording setup like this, when you're really listening for the sound, but I'd have no problem sounding like that on a gig or a recording, and I'm sure the listeners wouldn't mind either. Now, I know some of you are going to point out some really small differences and tell me all the details behind it, and that's totally fine, but I'm sure if I made a recording using that re-lacquered horn and said it was my own, I don't think anybody would know the difference. Now, full disclosure, I am not the type of person to sit there and dissect every little thing about sound and listen to it with $80,000 speakers and point out every little thing and talk about which serial number somebody played or the make and the model of it. I just try to make good music and have fun doing it. So before going any further, I have to mention a couple things about this re-lacquered saxophone. It was a do-it-yourself job back in the early 80s and wasn't done perfectly. I don't know every little detail about it, but I do know that too much material was taken off when it was stripped, and way too much lacquer was put on when it was re-lacquered. Like double the amount, or maybe even more. As a result, it doesn't vibrate nearly as much as my original lacquered horn, and it's really hard to feel the pitch or the sound in general when playing it. I rely heavily on the vibration and overall feel of the instrument while playing for my own sound and intonation, and as a result, it was a little difficult to place each note with the re-lacquered horn. If you know me, you know I'm a big believer in the idea that if a player is comfortable on their setup, they're going to be more likely to get to the sound that they have in their head as compared to someone who is uncomfortable on their setup but is playing better equipment. And the last thing on the vibration is that swapping the necks did seem to help. So when I had the re-lacquered body, when I put my original neck on, it did seem to help out the vibration, and I was able to feel it a little better. Now, I'm sure you heard, but there were some tuning issues, and that's just because I'm unfamiliar with the horn. Not sure if you know this or not, but I adjust my embouchure for almost every single note on my Mark 6. The only reason I know how to do it and how much and in which direction is because it's been my only alto for the past 19 years. I'm sure the re-lacquered horn would play perfectly in tune for me if I just had more time on it. The reason you would re-lacquer a horn is to make it look new and shiny again, either after the original lacquer has worn away or there was a major repair done to it. Lacquer wears off over time from the oils in your skin, as well as abrasion from your hands rubbing against it, rubbing against your leg, putting it in the case, etc. Personally, I love the look of a vintage horn with worn lacquer. Seeing the octave key and palm keys with absolutely no lacquer left, the bell in all its speckled glory, and the engraving on the side. It's beautiful. The thing I love about looking at my saxophone in particular is that almost every bit of lacquer that is worn was done by me. When I got the horn in 2001, it still had over 95% of its original lacquer on it. So, should you avoid re-lacquered instruments at all costs? Well, no. Should you go out tomorrow and re-lacquer your vintage horn? Well, no. This topic is something that I've wanted to cover for a really long time now, and the result is kind of what I thought it would be. Instruments play on an individual instrument basis, and more importantly than that, is the player. Some re-lacquered horns play great, and some won't. Just like some original lacquered horns play great and some don't. Mark 6 fanboys, you're not gonna like what I'm about to say, but I've played some original lacquer Mark 6s that were worth a lot of money that sounded bad. They were dull, they were stuffy, they were inconsistent from the bottom of the horn to the top. Just not good instruments that I wouldn't recommend someone buy. And this is just the nature of saxophones, and specifically ones that were made over 50 years ago. If you're looking to purchase an instrument, please try it out first. I don't care if it's a student model Jupiter or a pristine original lacquer Mark 6 tenor that's one serial number off of the one that Michael Brecker played. An instrument that feels and plays great for one person might feel completely different and play horrible for someone else. Playing an instrument or making music in general is a very personal thing. Each person has their own ideas and thoughts on how they want to play and what they want to sound like. So if there's someone out there that says you have to play or sound a certain way, tell them to shut up. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun making it, and it was really interesting for me, and I hope for you as well. I'd like to give a big shout out to Chris Oates for lending me the saxophone so I can make this video. He's a phenomenal saxophonist currently living in Philly, so if you haven't checked him out yet, please do yourself a favor and go do so. Please browse my channel. I have tons of different kinds of videos here. Also, please subscribe. It'll keep you up to date on all my new videos that I have coming out. As always, I'd like to give a big thank you to my patrons over on Patreon. Your support really helps out the channel, and I really can't thank you enough. If you want to become a patron or just want to check it out, the link to my Patreon page will be in the description below. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video.